Hello everyone, I'm Rashid and this video is in continuity of the last video where we had discussed about the expected topics of art and culture to be asked from ancient India, especially in the preliminary examination. Today we are going to do the same exercise with respect to medieval India art and culture. From medieval India again, the trend remains to be same. Examiner emphasizes on growth and development of art like painting and music, growth and development of architecture like construction and buildings of big monuments, and language and literature, both classical as well as regional languages. So starting from early medieval India, we'll emphasize on art forms, architecture, language and literature. In early medieval India, three regional kingdoms were established in different parts of India, that is Palas in eastern India, Pratiharas in western India, Rashtrakutas in the region of Deccan. Palas especially contributed towards cultural growth and development as they patronized Buddhist faith, and they even established educational institutions like the Vikramshila University. Rashtrakutas constructed several caves in the region of Deccan and they contributed towards several religious developments. After Palas, Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas, major cultural growth and development took place in the extreme southern part of India under the Cholas. Cholas were prolific builders and they contributed significantly towards temple architecture. Rajraj I and Rajendra I constructed several temples devoted to Lord Shiv, the most prominent being the Brihadeshwara temple. You need to understand all the features of Brihadeshwara temple as it is a very prominent monument in the southern part of India. With the arrival of Turks in India, several developments began to take place with respect to art forms, architecture, language and literature. The Turks were supporters of Islamic faith in India. Therefore, they didn't patronize artistic growth like music and painting to a large extent as these are against Islamic principles. But they contributed significantly towards language and literature and architecture. Turks initially converted the existing monuments in India and gave them Islamic orientation. But at the same time, they began to construct monuments from scratch like the Qutub Minar, which is the tallest brick structure of medieval times. At the same time, Turks began to use red sandstone extensively in the construction of monuments and they laid the basis of large number of cities around Delhi, that is, cities like Siri, Tughlaqabad, Firozabad and other prominent cities as well. At the same time, Turks also contributed towards growth and development of Persian language and literature. Persian remained to be their official language and several texts began to be written and compiled in Persian. The greatest representative of Persian language in Delhi Sultanate was Amir Khusro. In fact, Amir Khusro developed a hybrid form of Persian language known as Sabak-e-Hind or Lesson of India. And in course of time, he integrated Persian language of Iran with the language of India and that resulted into indigenous growth of Persian language and literature, whereby Amir Khusro expressed his sense of nationalism in his different works. After the end of Delhi Sultanate, provincial kingdoms were established in different parts of India and they also contributed towards art forms, architecture, language and literature, especially the Vijayanagar kingdom in the region of South India. The Vijayanagar ruler Krishna Deva Raya constructed large number of temples like Hazara Rama Swami Temple, Vitthal Swami Temple, and he's also considered to be one of the pioneer of Telugu language in southern part of India, in which he composed Amukta Malyada, the book on polity and statecraft. After the growth and development of regional architecture, language, Mughals came to India and they contributed significantly towards cultural growth and development, including art forms as well. The Mughals patronized the art of painting, especially when Humayun brought two Iranian painters to India. Painting reached a high level under Akbar and reached its zenith under Jahangir. Jahangir contributed significantly towards the art of painting, whereby natural scenes were depicted through multiple colors. Thereafter, painting began to decline under the reign of Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. At the same time, another performing art of music was promoted by the Mughals. In fact, Mughals maintained a royal band in their court, which was promoted by Akbar and Shah Jahan. At the same time, Mughals were prolific builders who constructed large monuments both in red sandstone and white marble. Starting from Babur, who constructed his mausoleum in the region of Kabul, Humayun's reign is very important for architecture, as after the death of Humayun, his wife constructed a beautiful mausoleum in form of Humayun's tomb in Delhi, which is a hybrid of Indian and Iranian style. Akbar constructed large number of monuments in red sandstone, whereby he led a new town near Agra known as Fatehpur Sikri, where he constructed Diwan-e-Aam, Diwan-e-Khas, Panchmahal, Jodhabai's palace. Akbar constructed large number of forts also, including the Allahabad fort. After the reign of Akbar, architecture reached its zenith under Shah Jahan, who constructed and led the basis of a new city in Delhi known as Shah Jahanabad, where he constructed Shah Jama Masjid. At the same time, Shah Jahan also constructed a beautiful mausoleum for his wife known as Taj Mahal at Agra that remains to be a wonder of the world till present times. All these developments contributed significantly towards cultural growth. As far as language and literature is concerned, Mughals also patronized Persian language, the greatest Persian writer being Abul Fazl, who wrote the biography of Akbar, along with other writers like Abdul Qadir Badayuni. Therefore, language and literature was also promoted to a large extent at this time under the Mughals. So in cultural history, you need to focus on art forms, architecture, language and literature, from where you will get questions in preliminary examination. This trend should be followed for ancient India as well, as we had discussed in the last video. If we follow this approach in the last moment, it will help you to revise things properly, and it will help you to avoid silly mistakes that will sail you through successfully in preliminary examination. Thank you and all the best.